In the midst of winter, I finally learned that there was in me an invincible summer. C.S. Lewis. Have you ever felt so defeated that you thought you'd never rise again? This feeling of despair can be overwhelming, yet remember, don't ever let the devil define you in your weakest moment. When you're at your lowest, he tries to convince you that you'll never recover, but that's a lie. This challenging time is not meant to break you, it's a learning period designed by God to strengthen you. But just as Noah emerged from the storm to witness a rainbow, you too can find new beginnings after your trials. Noah's life after the flood, where he lived 350 more years, signifies that there's abundant life and purpose awaiting you post-storm. Embrace this hope and realize that your current struggles are not the end but a prelude to greater strength and renewal. Stay with us as we explore more on overcoming life's adversities with God's grace. If this message resonates with you, please like and comment below before we move on to the next inspiring content. Can I hear a hallelujah from you? Isn't it curious how our greatest struggles often become the most profound teachers? C.S. Lewis once mused, hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Reflect on that for a moment. Are you grappling with a storm that seems unending? Perhaps you're wondering why a loving God would allow you to endure such pain. Lewis, in his profound wisdom, reminds us that God's aim is not our comfort but our character. Just as a master potter refines his clay in the furnace, God sometimes lets the fire burn not to harm us, but to fortify us. Imagine Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the blazing furnace. Sometimes God rescues us from the flames, but at other times, he makes us resilient to withstand the heat. This resilience, this fireproof nature, is a testament to our growth and his unwavering commitment to our development. Have you ever considered that your current trial is a divine appointment for growth? Lewis poignantly stated, "We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us, we are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be when faced with adversity." It's not about questioning God's love, but understanding that his love is manifested in ways that stretch us beyond our comfort zones. Why does a loving parent insist on their child eating vegetables and not just sweets? Because they see the bigger picture of health and growth. Similarly, God, our Heavenly Father, sees the grandeur of our potential and nudges us towards it, even if it means temporary discomfort. Reflect on your darkest moments. Were they not the times you felt closest to God? Lewis wisely observed, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." These hardships draw us nearer to him, fostering a deeper reliance and trust. Are you listening to the lessons your pain is teaching you? Moreover, trusting God doesn't require understanding every twist and turn of his plan. Lewis articulated this beautifully. "I am sure that God keeps no one waiting unless he sees that it is good for him to wait." Patience in tribulation is a virtue that molds our faith. As we navigate life's unpredictable seas, the key is not to resist the waves but to trust the divine captain steering the ship. In essence, your trials are not a sign of abandonment, but of divine love and a higher purpose. Embrace the process, trust in God's wisdom, and remember, as Lewis aptly put it, the great thing, if one can, is to stop regarding all the unpleasant things as interruptions of one's own or real life. The truth is, of course, that what one calls the interruptions are precisely one's real life. So, weather the storm with faith, for it is in these moments that God is shaping you into the extraordinary person he envisions. Whenever we listen to people's testimonies, it's seldom that we hear stories of unbroken happiness. Instead, we are often met with tales of struggle and how God has used these adversities to forge something extraordinary. C.S. Lewis once poignantly remarked, "Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." This reflection invites us to consider whether pain might not be the worst thing that happens to us. In fact, it might be the very crucible through which we are made. Have you ever wondered why our deepest transformations often come through our darkest times? Lewis's profound insights urge us to see pain not merely as an affliction but as a powerful force of change. We all endure struggles, we all traverse the shadowed valleys of life. But isn't it these very experiences that shape us? Can you recall a moment when your character was most tested and, subsequently, most strengthened? God's ability to work miracles in our lives remains a steadfast belief. Yet, as Lewis observed, the real transformation of our character comes not in an instant, but through the relentless and patient work of diligence over time. Have you ever found yourself yearning for a swift resolution, only to realize later that the slow journey brought you closer to your true self? Understanding that God is deeply invested in our journey can be a comforting thought. He makes promises about our destination, but his true focus is on walking with us through every twist and turn. C.S. Lewis reminds us that God's companionship in our journey is where we find true solace. We may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. This presence assures us that despite the ups and downs, we are never alone. In moments of solitude and hardship, when we might feel forsaken, let us remember the divine promise, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Reflecting on Isaiah 41 verse 10, "Fear not, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." We find that God's unwavering support is ever present. So, the next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, how is God using this moment to shape my character? How can I embrace this journey, knowing he walks beside me? By delving into these questions, we not only find empathy and understanding, but also a profound connection to the divine narrative of transformation and grace. When you find yourself facing adversity, don't abandon your faith. Keep running the race, no matter how tough it gets. C.S. Lewis once remarked, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." This truth rings clear as we navigate life's inevitable struggles. There will be suffering, trials, and moments when giving up seems like the easiest option. Indeed, there comes a time in every life when quitting appears attractive. We may consider abandoning marriages, jobs, education, church, and even God. But let us pause and reflect what drives us to these points of despair. Is it the weight of the cross we bear that feels too heavy? Is it the seemingly insurmountable giants that block our path? Lewis eloquently described these moments as times when the shadow of pain and suffering stretches long over our lives, yet he also encouraged us to find solace in the knowledge that we are never alone in our struggles. When God sets a path before you that seems grievous, remember that these trials are not without purpose. They mold us, refine our faith, and bring us closer to the divine. Consider the resurrection of a dead marriage, once lifeless and fraught with discord, revived and flourishing anew. Envision a struggling business experiencing a miraculous financial breakthrough, or a sick body restored to vibrant health. Think about shattered dreams being pieced together into a beautiful reality. These miracles are not mere fantasies, they are promises rooted in faith and perseverance. As you walk through the valleys of life, lift your hands in praise and declare, "Faith is the victory that overcomes the world." This declaration is not just a hopeful sentiment, it is a powerful mantra that has sustained God's people through millennia. Lewis reminded us that faith is the art of holding on to things in spite of your changing moods and circumstances. It's a fight, a daily battle to maintain hope and trust in God's promises. Ask yourself, what areas of your life feel like they are on the brink of collapse? Where do you feel the urge to quit the most? In these moments, draw strength from the stories of those who have walked similar paths and found victory through their unwavering faith. Reflect on the words of Lewis, who encouraged believers to press on and strain forward, embracing the life that Jesus promised us with both hands and refusing to let go. So, don't quit now. Whatever your struggle, whether it's in your relationships, career, health, or dreams, remember that God's plan for you is one of hope and future. Fight back against the urge to give up. Do it every day. This is the call of God's people to persevere, to press on, and to take hold of the extraordinary destiny that lies beyond the present trials. Don't tap out. Your victory is in your faith, and that faith will overcome the world. Imagine yourself standing on the precipice of your journey, feeling the weight of your struggles pressing down on you. It's been an arduous path, filled with moments of despair and uncertainty. Yet, now is not the time to falter. Quitting now would mean forfeiting the fruits of your labor, the harvest of your perseverance. C.S. Lewis, in his profound wisdom, once wrote, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." Have you ever wondered why your path is strewn with challenges? Perhaps it's because God is molding you, shaping you through the crucible of hardship, just as Lewis suggests. In our society, where instant gratification is the norm, the value of hard work often seems diminished. Yet, the ancient wisdom of Proverbs reminds us, all hard work brings a profit. This profit isn't merely material, it's the growth of character, the strengthening of spirit. Have you felt the transformative power of persistence, even when the world tells you to give up? It's in these moments of relentless effort that we craft an epic life, a journey worthy of the divine calling within us. C.S. Lewis once said, "God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." Are you listening to God's voice in your struggles? Each trial, each moment of adversity, is a step towards the person God intends you to become. Lewis believed that pain is a powerful teacher, an essential part of the divine curriculum designed to bring out the best in us. Reflect on the fiery trials you've faced. Can you see how they have refined you, strengthened you? God will provide the strength to endure these trials, but you must also believe in yourself. You are a child of the Most High, with the royal blood of heaven coursing through your veins. Why let past mistakes or the opinions of others dictate your future? C.S. Lewis reminds us, "There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Your past does not define you, your divine potential does." God created you with a purpose, a unique spark that no one else possesses. Embrace this truth and let it guide you through the furnace of adversity. As Lewis beautifully puts it, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Stand firm in your faith, persevere in your efforts, and trust that God is crafting something extraordinary in you. Remember, God never creates a nobody. You are a testament to his glorious design, destined for greatness through your unwavering faith and relentless hard work. Stop telling yourself that achieving your goals is impossible. Remember, nothing is impossible for those who believe and are called according to God's purposes. Luke 18 reminds us, "Now he told them a parable on the need for them to pray always and not give up." Do you grasp the importance of that? It's a call to persevere in prayer and to never lose heart. Reflect on your life. Where have you felt the sting of disappointment, discouragement, or disillusionment, leading you to give up? C.S. Lewis once said, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." Where have these hardships caused you to abandon your faith in the extraordinary? Today, let me encourage you, don't give up. Jesus emphasizes the need to pray continuously and not to give up. Perhaps you're still waiting for that healing, but believe me, it will come. Return to God and pray again. You may not have seen that breakthrough in your child's life yet, but remain steadfast. The Hound of Heaven, as Francis Thompson poetically describes God's relentless pursuit, is at work to bring that child back. Your marriage might still be facing challenges despite your prayers and faith over the years. But take this as your sign: don't give up. Pray once more. Seek God again. C.S. Lewis, in his profound wisdom, said, "Relying on God has to begin all over again, every day, as if nothing had yet been done." Where did you once hold dreams in your heart, promises you believed God would fulfill, only to stop praying because you grew weary or disillusioned? Consider this today as the day to reignite that faith. Lewis also reminds us that faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. So, where did your changing moods lead you away from persistent prayer? Today, return to God with the same fervor. Pray again. The scripture is clear: do not give up. C.S. Lewis wrote, "We are what we believe. We are embrace this belief and understand that prayer is not just a ritual, but a powerful connection to the divine." Go back, pray again, and never let go of the belief that God will fulfill his promises. What steps will you take today to reignite that persistent prayer in your life? How will you let go of discouragement and hold on to the unchanging promise of God? Pray again, and watch the extraordinary unfold. In our spiritual journey, what often stands between us and the fulfillment of our prayers is not God's silence but our wavering faith. Have you ever felt the weight of an unanswered prayer, like a stone in your heart, growing heavier with each passing day? It's in these moments of despair that we need to remember the words of C.S. Lewis, who once said, "I pray because I can't help myself. I pray because I'm helpless. I pray because the need flows out of me all the time, waking and sleeping. It doesn't change God, it changes me." What does it mean to be a persistent Christian in today's world, where instant gratification is often valued more than steadfast faith? To be persistent, tenacious, and resilient means embodying a faith that holds firm even when the answers seem distant. Lewis often spoke of the importance of perseverance, likening the spiritual life to a long, arduous journey rather than a quick sprint. He reminds us that our walk with God is not measured by the immediacy of our answers, but by the steadfastness of our steps. Consider the story of the persistent widow in Luke 18, verse 1-8. She repeatedly approached the unjust judge, demanding justice until he finally relented, not because of his righteousness, but because of her unyielding persistence. Jesus used this parable to illustrate that we should always pray and never give up. Why, then, do we often allow a few months or even years of silence to erode our resolve? Lewis's reflections on prayer emphasize that our persistent petitions do more than seek to move God, they transform our hearts, aligning them closer to His will. Imagine the mountains in your life, those seemingly immovable obstacles that loom over your path. How often have you approached them with a prayer that barely escapes your lips, already defeated by doubt? Remember, prayer is not a fleeting whisper, but a powerful dialogue with the divine. Lewis believed that through prayer, our perspective shifts. We must lay before Him what is in us, not what ought to be in us, he wrote. This honesty in prayer, this raw and unfiltered communication with God, is what stirs the heavens and sets divine intervention into motion. Reflect on the times you've prayed fervently yet felt no immediate change. Was it a month? A year? Perhaps even a decade? Consider this your divine sign. Go again. Pray again. The essence of faith is not found in the swiftness of answered prayers, but in the unwavering belief that God is working, even in silence. As Lewis aptly put it, faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. This faith, this unwavering trust in God's timing and purpose, is what ultimately moves mountains. Therefore, do not surrender to despair. Do not let the passing of time diminish your hope. Prayer is the very breath of our spiritual lives, the force that connects our hearts to God's, and through it, the impossible becomes possible. Remember, it is not our role to dictate when and how God moves, but to trust that He will. And when God is moved by our persistent prayers, He will indeed move the mountains that stand before us. So, take heart and go again, for in your perseverance lies the power to change not just your circumstances, but your very soul.